certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a really fun one today. We're talking about Studio Ghibli. Got a little bit extra of bigger panel today, but then again, did win by a really huge margin, so I'm not surprised. But over here, we've got fellow tape free member. We haven't seen him in a long time. I can't remember the last time he was on. Doug, how's it going?
I don't remember. You know, the last time that I was on, I was probably a good 40, probably actually closer to 70 pounds heavier. So it's awesome. We're doing good.
Moving along, got Jacob. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Beautiful day here, and I'm excited to talk Studio Ghibli.
And going along and just over the ditch from me, we've got Kelly. Kelly, how's it going?
Good. It's early, but it's good. I feel very lucky to be on this episode, so thanks for having me.
Moving along, we've got Kaiser. Kaiser, how's it going?
Same. It's like super early here. It's like 7 a.m. But yeah, Studio Ghibli, so I'm going to wake up for it.
And next up, and last but not least, we've got G Buttersnaps. Jay Burns. Jay, how's it going?
What's going on, y'all? I am so excited to be here. I just did a rewatch of Princess Mononoke in one of my friends' Discords last Saturday and was dropping all of the knowledge. My background will not be changing, and you cannot change my mind about my movies. I say we start this with a yelling match. So everybody just choose Earwig and the Witch for number 1, and we can move on. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding.
I'll just scratch it off while it's down. I mean, those that know me probably wouldn't be surprised if I end up liking it if I have actually seen it, which I haven't. But
you better go back to animation school if you like that movie. I'm just saying.
But anyway, how this is going to work, especially because we've got a 6-person panel. One person's going to throw out a movie, and then the other 5 people say yes or no to it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But with that being, without any further ado, Doug, what is the first one you're going to throw out there?
Sweet. I'm going to leave everybody on a sad note, and then we can go ahead and make everybody all happy. I'm so doing it. We're doing it. Listen, if you vote this movie off, you hate children that die during children time. I'm going Grave of the Fireflies. This movie was recommended to me, and I loved the story in this movie. It's incredible. The animation's incredible, especially for the time that it came out in. The overall story is just an incredible one of just pure love between 2 siblings and being able to finally let go. And especially when you find out what it's fully about, it's something that, will resonate for time to come. So yeah, Grave of the Fireflies and up first.
But that being said, Grave of the Fireflies is the first one brought up. Jacob, what do you say about Grave of the Fireflies?
I say yes, for all the reasons Doug said. It's a movie I've only been able to watch one time, but maybe I'll go back and revisit it. But like everything he said, the animation is amazing, and just the story, I love it. Go ahead.
No, can we just stop saying the animation is amazing? We're talking about the best animation studio of all time. All of them are gonna have amazing animation. It's just a point that's gonna be brought up.
This was their 3rd film. This was their 3rd film. Now. So jump off. How many times are you going to say Princess Mononoke in one night? I'm guessing 100.
All of the time.
So if we want to say it's the best animation for their 3rd film, yes, we will continue to say it.
I mean, Jay did say he wanted to start off with a yelling match, but we've started off a yelling match. Kelly, what are your thoughts on Grave of the Fireflies?
Yeah, this is definitely yes. This is one that always comes up on the saddest movies or movies that you'll only be able to watch once. months, and I'm a very sensitive person, so it took me a while to get to this one. But when I finally did, I was really blown away with the humanity between the siblings, as Jay alluded to, because that relationship and the quiet moments they have together is beautiful. So definitely yes.
Kaiser, what do you say about Grave of the Fireflies?
This is a chicken because this is one of the movies I never finished. Like, I think I got to the scene where the girl was like hallucinating about food, then I just stopped because I couldn't finish it. But it's still Grave of a Fireflies. It's a great movie. So yeah.
With that, it does make the list. Jay, what would you have said about Grave of the Fireflies?
I would have said I watched this movie when I was way too young, and I'm pretty sure that every existential crisis I have ever had stems from this movie. All of the fucking anxiety that I have stems from this movie. This movie fucked me up. I was 7 the first time I saw this movie.
Same.
I saw Cartoon Box and Kids in the Blockbuster and was like, yo, let me grab this. This looks like it'll be fun. I don't know what graves are yet. I don't have object permanence. My God. This would have been a yes from me, though. Like, honestly, I had expected it to come, like, later, but with this one out of the way, I know that there are at least, I think this entire first round is probably going to be all yeses. But yeah, I can't wait to see.
Yeah, this is one that I personally have not got around to watching. Yeah, I watched a whole bunch of them that I hadn't seen before throughout this. This is what I wanted to go to, but it's not on Netflix for me. So I just didn't have time to go out and rent it from somewhere. But this is one I knew was going to come up, and I really wanted to watch for this. But I'll get to it eventually.
This movie will make you cry.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
I mean, I've been told I'm a robot, so we'll see. But next up, Jacob, what is the next one you're going to bring up?
I'm going to bring up My Neighbor Totoro. I think this movie is just fantastic. It's one of my favorite animated movies of all time. I think the relationship between the sisters is really cool to see. And the emotion is there also with the mom in the hospital. And Totoro is just such a cool character. I love Totoro. I won't mention how beautiful the animation is. But
now you have to. Now it's a trope.
I do like how Totoro looks. I think he was done pretty well. And just I'm a sucker for like kids getting emotional. Like, I don't know. I work in childcare, so I do like kids actually. And so anytime a movie deals with kids and, parents possibly not making it or anything like that, it resonates with me a lot more. And so I think that's one of the reasons this movie hits me so hard. I love it. So, yeah.
Kelly, what is your thoughts on My Neighbor Totoro?
Absolutely has to make the list, considering it's the mascot and everything. It'd be a bit of a travesty if it didn't. But apart from that, it's just a great movie. It's one of those slice of life type movies where you just go along with these kids exploring their house and how they interact with Totoro, and it's magical but grounded at the same time, which is a hard line to walk. So yeah, definitely.
Kaiser, what do you say about My Neighbor Totoro?
Enough said.
Yeah, okay, but then in all seriousness, I do like Totoro a lot. Like, when I was a kid, I loved this movie a lot, but now as an adult, sometimes the kids being like too nonsensical can get a little on my nerves, but I still love the movie, and yeah, it will make the list.
Jay, what are your thoughts on My Neighbor Totoro?
We just got one of our top 3 in this 12 on this list. Let's be real here.
I'm taking that as a yes, but
It's a yes.
yeah. But yeah, so that makes the list. And yeah, this is one I would have suggested too. I really love this. Trying to resist the urge to say the phrase, but Totoro does look like a cool creature, and I mean, I believe this is the only Ghibli movie that has been appeared in Toy Story. So,
that is fair.
Hey, Doug, what would you have said about My Neighbor Totoro?
Cat bus.
That's literally the first word that popped into my head. I erased it. I drew a picture of a cat and a bus on my board.
I said if no one's gonna say it, I'll say it at the end. But cat bus. This movie's incredible. I love it still to this day. I'll watch it. When I went through my Ghibli, I'll watch through before we were doing this. I was like, that's probably my number 2 that I'm gonna watch. I saved Jay's for the last.
It's fair. It's fair. You got to save the best for last.
But Kelly, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
I'm going to throw out another big name, Howl's Moving Castle. I think this movie is beautiful. I love the story. More than anything, I love the music. I think Merry-Go-Round of Life is one of the most beautiful pieces ever composed. Just the fantasy elements and how it captures just those magical moments. I love the character of Sophie. I'm always a sucker for a strong female protagonist, which the studio is quite known for, and I think Sophie is one of the better ones. How she thinks she's plain, but she's special the whole time. That sort of thing, that always gets me. Howl's Moving Castle.
Kaiser, what do you say about Howl's Moving Castle?
Honestly, this movie would have been just an okay movie if it wasn't for Calcifer. Calcifer just destroys this movie, and it's amazing. Like, he's so funny, and honestly, I'm gonna say again, the animation is beautiful, and okay, it's a bit lower on my list than I think most people would have, but it's still on the list. So yeah, sure.
Jay, I think I know what you're going to say, so let's hear it.
Okay, there are only 2 Ghibli movies on the face of the planet that I really do not like. And this is one of them. The other one is the one that won the Oscar when it shouldn't have won the Oscar. I'm about to make some enemies on a list. This would be a no for me. This movie is incredibly fucking boring. You bring up strong female protagonists. Every one of the Ghibli films has a strong female protagonist. You went with one of the more basic of them, and that's just my opinion. You can take it with a grain of salt. You can hate me for the rest of your life all you want, but I'll live in your head rent free for the rest of the day for that statement. This would have been a no for me. I don't like this. I don't like this or Spirited Away.
But with
though Calcifer does steal the show. I will give you
that. This is one that I rewatched. You say this is one of the first 2 Ghibli movies I actually ever watched way back in the day. The other one being the aforementioned Spirited Away. But this is one that actually got me into loving the Ghibli movies and all that. And so this is a yes for me. Doug, what are your thoughts on Howl's Moving Castle?
So Kelly was on a panel with me that's going to be released soon, and there is a certain video game series that I'm absolutely in love with, and I'm a JRPG fanatic. So you might have guessed, Howl's Moving Castle fits right along with my narratives of loving that style, that fantasy style. I completely agree. I think fantasy-wise, I think it has a lot to do with the same kind of style that, Final Fantasy has come along with. So, like, you got that kind of same epic story. Whether you think it's boring or not, I still think it's kind of epic. But we're talking about Ghibli anyway. Most of their movies are epic. It's a yes for me.
And which means Howl's Moving Castle does make the list. Jacob, what would you have said about Howl's Moving Castle?
I would have said yes, just for all the reasons that were already mentioned. From the people that said yes.
Think outside the box. Use your own brain, sir.
What fun is that?
Don't be a sheep.
What fun is that? Being a sheep's fun sometimes. Bah. Sit down.
And I just remember having a really good time the first time I watched it. And so, yeah. I mean, Jay, I hear your points, and I understand all of them. And I disagree, but I totally see where you're coming from. And, yeah.
Kaiser, what is your first movie you're going to bring up?
Okay, I'm going to break from Hayao and into Goro. I'm actually picking from Up on Poppy Hill. This is a fantastic movie. Like, the story is so simple, but it's so moving and it's so charming. And one underrated aspect of a Ghibli that nobody ever talks about is the food. the food looks amazing in a Ghibli, and this movie is one of the best examples. It's a great romance. It's so moving, and yeah, it's actually one of my favorites from Up on Poppy Hill.
Jay, what are your thoughts from Up on Poppy Hill?
Just real quick, I had to help a buddy construct an argument about how Ghibli creates the best looking food in all of movies. In all of animation, in all of movies, Ghibli puts the love and care into creating their food that George R. R. Martin puts in describing his food. This would have been a yes for me. This is actually one of the more recent ones that I've watched, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, this is one I haven't got around to. This was going to be the next one I was going to watch, but just time ran away on me. Doug, what are your thoughts on from Up on Poppy Hill?
I have not seen this movie. So I have a rule: if I haven't seen it, I do not vote yes. So I got to vote no. I have not seen it, but it does sound cool. I'll definitely check it out.
Well, luckily, with my new rule I put in here, the if you haven't seen it, it just can be an abstain. It doesn't actually count against the movie now.
Abstained.
But Jacob, what thoughts on from Up on Poppy Hill?
I like this movie. I would say yes. I think the story is like you said, it's simple, but it's really good, and it flows really nicely. And I have a good time watching most Ghibli movies that I've seen, but this one definitely ranks higher up for me.
And Kelly, what are your thoughts on from Up on Poppy Hill?
Yeah, I would have said yes as well. It definitely, I'm surprised it came out so early because sometimes it can be a bit controversial being a Goro film, and I think it's been described as one of the more immature works in terms of animation. But I think the story is there. I think the nostalgia is there. It starts off with the jazziest breakfast song, which is amazing. Sometimes I'll go to YouTube just to watch that. So yes, it's a yes for me.
And with that, from Up on Poppy Hill does make the list. And Jay, we go to you.
My background. Let's be real here. The best Ghibli movie ever made, Princess Mononoke. I don't think I need to say anything about it. I can talk about this movie for hours. Literally, I did it the other day. But you, like I said, you want a strong female protagonist. You want somebody who kicks fucking ass. This is the movie you go to. This is the one that you go to. This is the one where you're like, damn, wife goals.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone waited to say Princess Mononoke for Jay to say it. I
appreciate y'all for that, by the way.
But with that being said, I love Princess Mononoke. I've heard so much about it a long time ago, then I had to watch it for a match. And it was just a great movie. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, Doug, what are your thoughts on Princess Mononoke?
I think the tones of this movie are excellent. I think it really shows what people are willing to do to protect the things that they love. I think the movie's incredible. It's a yeah.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on Princess Mononoke?
Worst? No, I'm kidding. It's an absolute yes for me. I remember I was glued to my screen the entire time watching this movie. It's so good. So yeah, definitely a yes.
Kelly, what are your thoughts on Princess Mononoke?
Yeah, in the entire Ghibli filmography, this is the epic. Like, this is the big blockbuster sort of one. And it has my favourite antagonist of anything with Lady Eboshi. I find her so fascinating, glamorous, but deadly. She's amazing. So this is definitely to make the list.
I think it's the easiest one to actually like the villain in, because you can kind of agree with Lady Eboshi, not the way she's going about things, but you can agree with her wanting to take care of, all the call girls, all the lepers, and everything in the town. And you're like, I back you on that. The way you're doing this, the execution of it, you're a terrible person.
And Kaiser, what would you have said about Princess Mononoke?
Talk about a movie where you can literally feel the world and feel the entire environment. Like, this is an incredible movie. Like, I don't think the animation has ever been better than in this movie. Like,
nope.
Like, honestly. So 100% yes.
These are Kodama. They've got my back.
Can you imagine Jay's face if he all just said no to Princess Mononoke?
It would have been the greatest.
You would have had a revolt on your hands. You would have had a revolt, sir.
Ever.
But with that being said, it's on me. And the first one I'm going to bring up is arguably one of the I believe this is the only Ghibli movie that is also a biopic of sorts. I'm going for The Wind Rises. This is about the life of, I'm just trying to find the name so I don't butcher it. Jiro Horikoshi. So this is one of those ones that is a really wonderful movie. And it's one that I really do like a lot. I haven't seen it in a while, but this is one that is currently number one for me. But yeah, Doug, what are your thoughts on The Wind Rises?
This movie is incredible. I really enjoy this movie. It seems like I'm going to say this a lot, but the sacrifice that's made in this movie, and knowing the sacrifice that she's knowing that she's going to go make towards the end of the movie. Spoiler alerts. Well, if you're watching this and you don't want spoilers, get the hell off the screen. Anyway, the sacrifice towards the end of the movie that she knows she has to make is pretty heart-wrenching when you see her just, go into the plane. Like, it's incredible. You feel the weight of the world watching this character.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on The Wind Rises?
This is one I don't remember much about. I know I've seen it once. I don't remember much about it. I remember liking it, but I couldn't tell you anything about the movie. And so because of that, I'm going to have to say no. I'm sure if I rewatched it, it would be a yes, but I don't remember anything about this movie, unfortunately.
Kelly, what are your thoughts on The Wind Rises?
Yeah, I just rewatched this one 2 nights ago for this, because this is the one as well that I'm less versed on. I'm going to go with no as well. I think it's good, but it just sits outside the 12, which is really hard because this is just such a stacked studio. This is the one I would budge on as saying good, but not the tier that we're at.
Kaiser, what are your thoughts on The Wind Rises?
I think I'll say yes because honestly, this movie is. I think it would have been really easy for Miyazaki to make a biopic of a Jiro, but then instead make it a biopic about World War II Japan. But he doesn't really do that. He does give an insight into this man's life and his love of planes and even a lot of great fantasy sequences. So I do like this movie a lot, and I'll say yes.
Which means, Jay, it's your decision. Does it make the list?
When I constructed my list, this was one of the first movies that I put on my list. It has since moved down to number 14 on my list. There are just so many other movies from Ghibli that I love, and one of them you can call a technicality all you want, and even if we take that one out, it would still be 13 on a list of 12 that, make it. Unfortunately, this wouldn't make it for me. This is going to be a no for me, but that doesn't mean that I don't love this movie, and that doesn't mean that if you haven't seen it, you shouldn't go watch it.
Yeah. But with that said, The Wind Rises doesn't make the list. And Doug, we go back to you.
All right. So y'all heard my explanation of House Moving Castle and how I have a thing with fantasy and all that stuff. Well, I guess you can kind of guess where my next pick's coming. This is going to be the wild pick for me. And I don't care because I just want to get it mentioned because this movie's beautiful, regardless of it being a Studio Ghibli film or not. I just enjoy the fantasy elements of it. Tales from Earthsea. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I don't care. It's one of those movies that doesn't get talked about a lot, but I think overall it's just a beautiful story. It's so good. I don't care. It's my wild card. I think it's incredible work with fantasy. I think it's taken from 4 books and basically a manga that Miyazaki worked on himself, and I think it just plays well to the big screen.
Jacob, what do you say about Tales from Earthsea?
I have not seen this one yet, but it's on my list to watch.
Kelly, what do you have to say on Tales from Earthsea?
This is by far my least favorite from the whole studio. I think it's muddled. I don't like the animation. I don't gravitate towards any of the characters. It's not outright bad, but it's nowhere near. Yeah, no.
Kaiser, what are your thoughts on Tales from Earthsea?
I agree. This story feels very, very cramped, and then the main villain is very forgettable, and the characters are okay for, like, I don't know, Nickelodeon movies, but not for like a Ghibli movies. So yeah.
Jay, what are your thoughts on Tales from Earthsea?
It feels like they tried to cram information from 4 books into one movie. It sucks because honestly, had they executed this right, I think it would have been one of their better movies. And we could be talking about it in a completely different context, and we could be freaking out about how it's gone this late in a pick, but it didn't happen that way. And those are all what ifs, and that's whataboutism. It didn't happen like that. This is going to be a no from me. I think it's a little bit better than a Nickelodeon movie. Come on. I mean, look at Rugrats in Paris. Like, disrespectful, but I agree, but
but yeah, like I watched this just last night. And
I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry for watching it because like I kind of see where Doug's going. I kind of do enjoy where this could have gone, but it just I think this is one of the Ghibli ones that could have been a franchise for them. They could have done each book separately. I don't know much about the UFC books at all, but this is just one that none of the Ghibli movies are actually bad. This is just this is like 2.5 stars for me, and which is like in the middle there. But all the Ghibli movies are like 2.5 to 5 stars. So I enjoyed it. It just doesn't make the list. Jacob, what is the next one you're going to bring up?
I'm going to bring up Kiki's Delivery Service. This was the very first Studio Ghibli movie that I watched, and kind of started this adventure for me of watching more of their movies. And I was hooked. Like, this movie is just so fantastic. The character of Kiki was great. I love the adventure she goes on, becoming a witch. So, yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service. This is
Kelly,
one of my favorites.
Kelly, what are your thoughts on Kiki's Delivery Service?
This is by far the one I've gone back to the most because it's such an easy, enjoyable watch, and sort of is emblematic of what I like from the studio, of where it's not a good versus evil. It's just the story of this girl on her journey and what she goes through. And that's the interesting part, is her development as a person and becoming a witch and meeting all the fun characters along the way. So, and Gigi, amazing. What we said about Calcifer applies for Gigi as well.
Kaiser, what are your thoughts on Kiki's Delivery Service?
But Gigi stops speaking, so yeah. The moment Gigi stops speaking, then the movie just becomes very, very dull. But the first half of the movie is still really great. I like Kiki is a very, very charming character, and this will be this is like number 12 on my list, but I think I'll still put it in. Yeah.
Jay, what are your thoughts on Kiki's Delivery Service?
Okay, so I'm about to reveal something that might blow your minds. I really like Steven Universe. There is an episode of Steven Universe that is literally this movie condensed into 11.5 minutes, and it works so well. When you can condense a movie that literally just enraptures you the entire time into a bite-sized portion of it, you can literally just fall in love with this movie all over again. This would have been a yes from me. This is one of the first Ghibli movies I ever watched, and it does hold a special place in my heart.
With that, it does make the list. This is easily a yes for me as well. This is when I heard that all the Ghibli movies are coming to Netflix for me. This was one of the first ones that I went to watch because this is one I've heard a lot about, and it just blew my mind. It's one of those ones that is amazing, and this is actually one of the few that I actually don't hate the dubbed version of it a lot, because I think even the dubbed voices give it a little bit extra heart to it as well. Doug, what are your thoughts on Kiki's Delivery Service?
It's Sabrina the Teenage Witch and anime. Yeah, I'm down with it. Let's go. I'm not wrong. She has a talking black cat and she's a witch. Boom.
I was about to make a Salem comment. Like, honestly, I was like, look, Salem doesn't always talk, but when he does, then he'll shut the fuck up.
Kelly, what is the next one you're going to bring up?
I'm going to bring up one that's quite near and dear to me, and if you asked what I think is the most underrated film from Ghibli, is Whisper of the Heart. Whisper of the Heart, I think, is a beautiful movie. It's one of the best coming-of-age stories ever told, period. I think the characters are just wonderfully developed. It's more quiet because you're in a school setting and you're following the real world of what this girl is going through. But we also get introduced through her stories to characters like the Baron and her magical world and her escape and what happens when you have a special talent and you develop it. And as I said, anything in a school setting, I'm just an absolute sucker for. It's definitely what I gravitate towards. But Whisper of the Heart, I think it's beautiful. I think it gets overlooked because it's not a Miyazaki or Takahata, but it's absolutely worth the watch.
Kaiser, what are your thoughts on Whisper of the Heart?
Fun fact. Fun fact. I learned country roads in Japanese before English because this movie is probably my number 2 or number 3 on the entire Ghibli, because as Kelly said, anything in a school setting is just fantastic, and honestly, it's very unique to see the dreams of those two characters. That one wants to be a writer, and then the other one wants to be like a violin maker, and it's so unique and refreshing to see in just like any movies like this type of unique dreams and the lengths they are willing to go to achieve them. So 100% yes.
Dave, what do you say about Whisper of the Heart?
I actually thoroughly like this. Any movie about a girl who wants to become a writer. I've always wanted to become a writer. It struck with me. I like the sequel a little bit more than this one. The Cat Returns. But this would be a yes for me.
Yeah, this was actually going to be the next one I was going to bring up. So by that is a no for me. No, just kidding, as a yes. Doug, what are your thoughts on Whisper of the Heart?
I mean, they're not wrong. High school movies kind of like always pull at the heartstrings, and like watching someone try to live their dream, it's like something that's going to always like speak to pretty much anybody, unless you're someone like Ebenezer Scrooge, I guess. A humbug for people's dreams. Get off my lawn. No, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I think it's really well paced too. Yeah, it's a yes.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on Whisper of the Heart?
This is another one I wasn't able to get around to. I tried watching the ones that I haven't seen, but work and life just got in the way. So it's on my list though, and by the sounds of it, I'm really going to enjoy it.
But with that being said, Kaiser, what is the next one you're going to bring up?
Oh, I'm torn between two. Okay, I'll bring up the easier one. I'll bring up Laputa, Castle in the Sky. This movie, wow! This movie, like as I thought about food, the food in this movie might actually be the best in all of the Ghibli movies, and the adventure element of it is actually really, really great. And I might be one of a few people who actually don't really like once they get to Alaputa, and I like everything before they went there. But that being said, it's one of the earliest Studio Ghibli movies. I think it's their first movie, if I'm not wrong, and it has to make a list. So, Castle in the Sky.
Jay, what are your thoughts on Castle in the Sky?
Give me a story that's close to anything Star Wars related, and it's gonna be a 100% yes from me.
I mean, if I'm correct, I think Mark Hamill was the voice of this too. So, but with that, funny enough, for the same reason as Jay, I like the adventure element of Castle in the Sky, and this is just one of those ones that I didn't know what I was going to expect. We're going into this, but I do love this, so it's an easy yes for me. Doug, what do you say about Castle in the Sky?
Jay stole my whole thing about Star Wars. I call shenanigans.
You stole like two of my jokes before. Fuck you.
It happens. It's a yes. Same reason that Jay gave. If it's something to do with Star Wars, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. Let's go. You give me the same principle. You have Mark Hamill do the English dub of it. Yeah, I'm down for you. He's also the best Joker of all time. So,
Facts.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on Castle in the Sky?
I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's the same thing, you know. Star Wars, yeah, definite yes for me. Love the adventure aspect of this.
Kelly, what are your thoughts on Castle in the Sky?
I love that the food keeps getting brought up, because when I went to the Ghibli Museum, they've literally had a display where you're in this kitchen and you get to walk through and look at all the pantry and all the food and everything. So this is definitely one that sticks out in my mind for food as well. I say yes. It's a great first effort from the studio. I find the movie starts strong and ends strong. I zone out a little bit in the middle, but the iconography of the big robot and everything, that is just classic. So it must be on the list.
One thing I actually just found out, Anna Paquin was also in the English dub of this too. But that being said, Jay, what is the next movie going to bring up?
All right, so I'm going to throw my wild card pick out, and we have talked about this. I just want to give a shout out and a real quick rip to Monkey Punch. We are going to bring up Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro. It is not a Ghibli film, but it is directed by Miyazaki and is the first movie that he did. It's like the first movie that he ever did, and Miyazaki and Ghibli are so interconnected. I think that it should count. You want to talk about a spy? You want James Bond, but a badass with an entire crew behind him? We're talking Lupin here. I know probably a lot of y'all haven't seen it. I know me and Kaiser were talking about it. And this is probably gonna be a stretch for a lot of people. This might be 3 yeses and 3 nos. And it's just because 3 people might not have seen it. But you want to talk about food. This is the movie that I pointed to in the debate, because the food in this movie, for a movie that came out pre-1980, still looks fucking amazing. You want to talk about beautiful fucking artwork. As much as people might not like the body shapes of, all of the characters of it, the backgrounds to this movie, the food, every other piece of this movie is beautiful. Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro, I put it on the table.
But yeah, for those, but yeah, before anyone starts arguing, the reason I allowed that this and another one that's probably going to come up maybe is because when you these are ones that for some reason appear on a lot of Ghibli collections now. So, and probably because of the Miyazaki connection, I don't know, but these both are considered Ghibli by proxy now. So I allowed these two. And this, I actually just watched this yesterday.
Good shit.
Because it's on Netflix here, and it's one that I did enjoy. I didn't know what I was expecting. I know Jay was praising it a lot, but yeah, I'm giving it a yes. Doug, what are your thoughts on the Castle of Cagliostro?
You can't get more badass than at the end of the movie. The girl begs you to stay, and he's like, "Nah, peace. I'm out. I'm a spy. I gotta live my life. I gotta go rob more people. What do you want from me? I'm out." Yes.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on Castle of Cagliostro?
I'm probably one of the three that hasn't seen it.
Actually, I thought the entire top row hadn't seen it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I want to see it. Is it? Do you know? Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix in New Zealand. I'm not 100% sure if it is in America. I will find out where you can watch it though.
I mean, it might be on HBO Max with the other Ghibli ones. So, but
oh no, it is on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
It is on Netflix. Add it to your list.
Yep.
Kelly, what are your thoughts on the Castle of Cagliostro?
This is one I haven't seen because I do sort of consider it in the pocket to the side of Ghibli related, but I know I will enjoy it when I watch it, so I can't be mad that it's on the list. But I never sort of see it representative of Ghibli, and I think there's more other ones that haven't been brought up that are. So, but I'm not going to be angry.
But Kaiser, what are your thoughts on the Castle of Cagliostro?
Look, the characters in this movie, they are literally paper thin. There is no depth to the characters in this movie, but neither does A Princess Bride. And I love A Princess Bride, so 100% yes, this is a great movie.
You're not wrong.
Holy shit, he's not wrong.
You're not wrong. I love Princess Bride, but you're not wrong.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Holy shit.
But with that being said, Lupin the Third Castle of Cagliostro does make this list.
Wild card, bitches.
Which means we have got 3, 6, 9 on the list so far, and it's on me.
3 spots left.
Yeah, but in all fairness, we're not going to talk about several of them because we all know they don't deserve to be on this list. So let's name some good ones and wrap this up.
Yeah, or I could do the complete 180 and bring up one that has been mentioned. It won the Oscar. It was the first Ghibli movie I saw. It's Spirited Away. Look, you can hate on it all you want, Shay. I love this movie. Chihiro is a really great character. And yeah, this is one that, I mean, admittedly, I haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember that I did love this when I first watched it. This is one I was going to revisit, but if I had time, but I wanted to try and catch the ones I hadn't seen for first time first. But Doug, what are your thoughts on Spirited Away?
Yeah, I gotta give it yes because they at least recognized that the studio deserved an Oscar. So for that alone, I'm gonna give it the yes. Jacob,
what are your thoughts on Spirited Away?
It's a definite yes for me. This was going to be the next one I brought up. This is one of my favorite animated movies of all time. I love it. I love the characters. I love everything about this movie. So yes from me.
Kelly, what are your thoughts on Spirited Away?
This is the first one I saw as well because they re-released it in cinemas, so I actually got to see it on the big screen, which I really appreciated, and it definitely transported me into the world. You can't say that the bathhouse and that spirit realm is not just absolutely stunning, and the character design is beautiful. And this has probably my favourite score because those pieces of music are just stunning. So yes, big yes for me.
It does make the list. Kaiser, what are your thoughts on Spirited Away?
I like this movie, but for a very a different reason. Like, I thought the characters were pretty basic and not very good. But it's the scenes in this movie that are just like fantastic. Like there was a scene where they are trying to pull trash from a water spirit, and that scene is probably the best scene in the entire Studio Ghibli filmography. So on that alone, I'll give it a yes. Yeah.
Jay, tell us your thoughts on Spirited Away.
No. Look, essentially, moral of the story: listen to parents who are pieces of shit, or you will be attacked by giant pedophiles. And no. This. Tell me I'm wrong. Okay, then.
He's absolutely right. Yeah.
Okay, then. That's what I thought. And this is the one that won an Oscar. Okay, I get it. The Oscar category didn't exist when Princess Mononoke came out. But goddamn it, retroactively give the best Ghibli movie the actual fucking Oscar it deserves, not this one. This would have been a no from me.
I'm shocked. I say.
Damn it.
Doug, what is the next movie that you're going to bring up?
All right. So next movie I'm going to bring up, I'm surprised no one's brought it up yet, even in the second round.
Don't you say it.
I am going to say it.
Don't you?
You know what? I like fish, and little fish are cool. So shut up, Jay.
I hate you so much.
I don't care. I enjoy
you,
this. Ponyo. I love this movie. This movie is adorable, and it's like Finding Nemo, but if they did it with a Studio Ghibli film. I thoroughly enjoy this. It's got a lot of heart to it. Just like the characters in it in general are just kind of captivating, and not like a lot of other animated movies. You kind of just get like the basic characters. I think there are a little bit more to them, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So Ponyo on the table. You can hate me all you want, Jay. I don't care.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on Ponyo?
This is one I wasn't actually able to finish. I'm not sure, like, what it was about the movie. I just wasn't able to finish it, and I haven't gone back to it since. So I'm gonna say no.
Kelly, what are your thoughts on Ponyo?
I'm a big yes on Ponyo. I'm so glad it came up. It hasn't been said in a while, but the animation. I think this is legitimately the one you can say, the animation for this one. The waves, the way they drew the waves and her running on top of it is just glorious. And then all the vibrant colours of Under the Sea. I think the imagery in this is gorgeous. And as we're talking about with characters, I love the mum character. You actually get a good mum in one of these kids' tales. She's amazing. So definitely I think Ponyo has lots of charm, gorgeous visuals. Yeah, big yes.
Kaiser, what's your thoughts on Ponyo?
Ponyo makes Tales like Earthsea look like Spirited Away. This is by far the worst movie in the entire Ghibli filmography. It's so boring. Like as a kid, I fell asleep, and then as an adult, I fell asleep. So no way is on this.
Jay, what are your thoughts on Ponyo?
This movie didn't even touch my list, bro. I fucking despise this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to make the list set, but yeah, I mean, I did enjoy Ponyo. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but it's also not in my personal top 12 either, so it would have been a no anyway. And the only thing that's better than a Little Fish is a Big Fish. Big Fish is a better movie, which isn't a Ghibli movie.
You guys just cut Matt Damon out of this list. How dare you?
Fuck Matt Damon.
But Jacob, what is the next movie going to bring up?
I'm going to bring up one that I just actually watched for the first time recently, and that is Porco Rosso. I loved this movie. I didn't know anything about this movie. I watched it on HBO Max. Looking at the Studio Ghibli portion of their streaming service, and I was hooked. Like the whole idea of the movie was fascinating to me. And so I was hooked. I couldn't. I want to watch it again already. That's how much I love this movie. So I'm gonna put that one up.
Kelly, what are your thoughts on Porco Rosso?
This is the next one I was going to bring up, and I'm surprised it hasn't come up earlier, being a Miyazaki, one of the bigger ones. I think this movie is amazing. It has one of the best lines in cinema history, better a pig than a fascist. Like, that's iconic. I think the characters are amazing. You get Miyazaki's love of planes in there as well. I love the character of Gina, because I'm always a sucker for Susan Egan in any voices. There's your Rose Quartz connection.
Yes.
And Fio Piccolo, one of the better female characters that never gets brought up because she's not Porco, not the main one, but she definitely always needs to be in the conversation. I think she's amazing. So definitely Porco Rosso.
Kaiser, what are your thoughts on Porco Rosso?
Oh, this is one that I need to rewatch because I watched it a lot when I was a kid, but honestly I don't remember much about it besides the aerial dog fights. But based on what I remember, I still like it enough to at least make it like top 12, so I'll say yes.
Jay, what are your thoughts on Porco Rosso?
I really just want to give a shout out to like 3 other people in this movie. Michael Keaton is in this fucking movie, y'all. Fucking Batman is in this movie. Carrie Elwes, there's our Princess Bride connection as well. And honestly, also not only David Ogden Stiers, but SpongeBob himself, Tom Kenny, is in this fucking movie, guys. This would have been a yes. This is like number 5 or 6 on my list, as a matter of fact. This definitely would have made it. I'm glad somebody brought it up, so I didn't have to. But I'm really happy to see that Porco Rosso makes it. Crimson Pig all day.
To be fair, we had our Princess Bride connection. Municipal Heart made the list.
That's true.
But yeah, I'm also going to be yes on Porco Rosso. This is one that I really do enjoy. And yeah, just a fantastic movie. Doug, what are your thoughts on Porco Rosso?
Ghibli gave us an after-credit scene before we knew what an after-credit scene was. So I think Marvel owes them a lot of thanks. Anyway, yeah, it's a yes.
In all fairness, Marvel did say they stole that from Kevin Smith. So Kevin Smith owes it to Ghibli, and then Ghibli can sue Marvel. That's fine. I'm fine. I'm okay with that. Let Ghibli do the Marvel What If series.
Yes, please.
Right?
I'd be so down for that.
Right.
I mean, I know. Just on Netflix, they have actually bought like anime versions of like X-Men on this. But we're completely off track now. Kelly, what is the pick you're going to bring up next?
I absolutely did not think I'd be the one to bring this up, but I have to say Nausicaa. I know I was the one sort of leaning against it because I considered it before, but it is the key one that gets wrapped up in the Ghibli oeuvre. Nausicaa is just one of those perfect post-apocalyptic movies. It's got that iconic imagery of her on the glider, the little fox, those environmental themes that tend to run through. It's pretty emblematic of some of the key points that we would know the studio for. The score as well, the da 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 da, that gets stuck in my head so much. Yeah, Nausicaa.
Kaiser, what are your thoughts on Nausicaa?
When I watch Nausicaa, I can clearly see that this is one of the Studio Ghibli's earlier efforts because they did something like not right in this movie that they did better in Princess Mononoke, for example. But as Kelly said, great score, great opening scene, fantastic imagery, and overall, great movie. Yes.
Jay, what are your thoughts on Nausicaa?
The bugs are so creepy. They stole them for Cell in Dragon Ball Z. But look at this look at this fucking cast, dude. You've got Mark Hamill, you've got Patrick Stewart. This movie not only looks amazing, this movie sounds amazing. As much as there's a couple that I really want to have mentioned, and this is the last spot we have, I believe. I'm gonna say yes. I know you were kind of railing against it in the group chat, Kelly, but you go back and you rewatch this movie and you're like, there's no way this movie came out in the 80s. This movie is amazing, and if you haven't seen it, go fucking watch it. Although I would say if you haven't seen any of the movies that we have talked about today, go fucking watch them. What are you doing here? Thank you for being here, but go watch these movies.
I mean, it's one of those ones, if you haven't seen them, they're more accessible than what they were a few years ago, because with them all being on HBO Max or Netflix and internationals, like, they're more accessible than what they ever have been. But yeah, this is one that I know it was brought up about Cagliostro and this one. I did some research to just find out more about them before I kind of made a decision. And this is one that when I did my research on, the studio that Miyazaki was working in, Topcraft, which made this, is the one that they bought and actually renamed Studio Ghibli. So this is the one of the ones that I can understand why it is tied up in there now, because that studio is technically what Studio Ghibli is. So so with that is one that I don't have a problem with this being on the list. I really love this movie. It's a yes. It makes the list. Doug, what are your thoughts on Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind?
I love movies that leave you on a hopefulness. When you see that non-toxic tree sprout at the end of the movie, it's like, fuck yeah, they did it. Let's go. They're gonna rebuild the world, and it's perfect. I think for their first movie out the gate, this is an incredible movie to start off your Ghibli run out. So,
all right. And Jacob, what are your thoughts on Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind?
I like this movie. If it was brought up earlier, I would have said yes. Not that it matters now because it made the list, but just because I think there's a couple that I'm surprised didn't get brought up and put on the list. But
Justice for Pompoko.
that's one of them actually. But it's still a really, really good movie, and I'm not disappointed that it's on the list. But yeah, I'm not disappointed that any movie is on the list. Let's be honest.
Yes, I mean, this is one that you could throw out any 12 movies that you want, and you're not going to have an incorrect list because all Ghibli movies are great.
Except for Tales from Lucy.
But with that being said, go around. Doug, is there any honorable mentions you want to throw out?
I closed my list. Yeah.
While you get your list back up, Jacob, is there any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
Yeah, when Marnie was there.
It's a good one.
Pompoko, and then The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. Those were the three.
Kelly, is there any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
Pretty similar. Tale of Princess Kaguya and Marnie was there, I think, because there's some of the more recent ones. They sometimes don't get brought up in the conversation because they haven't been classics yet, and there's a few issues. So they're my 13, 14.
Kaiser, is there any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
Just one. Only Yesterday. The way they go and cut a pineapple is amazing. Watch that scene, even if you don't watch the movie. It's amazing.
Jay, is there any honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
Yeah, Pompoko. You ever want to see Tanukis in every fucking instance ever? That's the one to watch. Also, and I know that Production IG also helped on it, but Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence. If you haven't seen it, is also a fucking amazing movie produced by Ghibli. And it's like my number 13, 14. It's up there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I did really enjoy The Cat Returns. Ariete is one that I actually do enjoy watching too, as a fan of the Boas books. And one that the animation is really vastly different from what they've done a little bit is My Neighbors the Yamadas. I think that's a interesting one that they did. I didn't know where people sit on it, so I wasn't going to bring it up. But it's one that is a interesting one. But with that being said, we get on to the fun part. We get to vote on what we want. So if you've got a whiteboard handy or something to write on, then going to vote on what we want. Doug, what do you want at number 12?
Just because I haven't seen it, Poppy Hill.
Jacob, what do you want for number 12?
Just because I haven't seen it, Whisper of the Heart.
Kelly, what do you want for number 12?
One I haven't seen, Cagliostro.
Kaiser, what do you want for number 12?
Porco Rosso.
Jay.
Poppy Hill.
I've got Porco Rosso. So we've got 2 votes for Poppy Hill, 2 votes for Porco Rosso. So Jacob, do you want Porco Rosso or Poppy Hill and number 12?
Poppy Hill.
The correct choice.
Damn.
The correct choice.
Poppy
Are
Hill
we
is
going to
my
be
number
fighting this
2.
battle for the rest of the episode, though?
I mean, let's be fair. We know what our top 3 are.
I mean,
Mine
we
just
know
overall.
what our top 3 are.
but Jacob, what do you want for number 11?
I gotta keep it the same, Whisper of the Heart, just because I haven't seen it.
Kelly.
Ditto. I'm sure I'm going to like it.
You will.
Guys,
You will. Porco Rosso.
Jay.
Whisper of the Heart.
Porco Rosso. Doug.
Whisper of the Heart.
Oh,
There you go.
you're breaking my heart. Shit.
That's
Go
a top
whisper to
tier.
it later.
Yikes. The joke wasn't even that funny. Yikes. Oh, God.
Okay, so
A second, please.
Just because I know. I'm gonna hate
Send
myself
the
for this.
wavelengths- Saving wavelengths to Jay. Sending
Kelly,
wavelengths.
what do you have for number 10?
Shock horror. Something completely different.
Kaiser.
Shocking, Porco Rosso.
Jay.
Just because I know exactly how this is gonna go down, I put my own movie on here. Castle of Cagliostro.
Porco Rosso. Doug.
Spirited Away.
That's a good choice.
Jacob.
That's right where it fucking belongs.
Cagliostro, just because I haven't seen it.
Damn.
Oh, that movie's really fucking good, though. It's really good.
So is seasons 1, 2, and 4 of Lupin the Third.
I know.
The third one, not so much. They tried to make it a little bit too childish. But go watch the show as well and rip to Monkey Punch. The mangaka died back in 2019, and your boy cried. I'm not gonna lie.
But we're on to 9. Kaiser, what do you want for number 9?
Shocker.
Jay.
Porco Rosso is better than Spirited Away.
Porco Rosso. Doug.
Spirited Away.
Jacob.
I said Nausicaa.
And
Nausicaa!
Three-way tie?
This is exactly what's gonna take forever.
Oh, no.
So we've got three-way tie. We do have one person in the chat. So the first one that I see in the chat from Jonathan will be what will
Jonathan,
be.
make the right choice. Make the right choice.
And Jonathan said,
Jonathan,
Oh, God.
what is wrong with you?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
no.
Oh, no.
We're beefing, Johnny.
Alright. Jay, shock us with what you have for 8.
The movie about giant pedophiles, Spirited Away.
Porco Rosso. Doug.
Spirited Away.
Jacob.
I said Grave of the Fireflies.
Yikes!
Kelly.
Castle in the Sky.
Porco Rosso.
Yikes!
So, got
I'm gonna need my
Porco
relief
Rosso
pillow
and
here.
You're making me
so
drink
what I'll
right
do
now.
is I'll go to Kelly this time. Kelly, Porco Rosso or Spirited Away at 8?
Spirited Away at 8.
That is exactly where it belongs.
I'm
Actually,
gonna
it's a
fight
little
this
bit
uphill
higher.
battle for Porco Rosso.
Yo, no, you don't have to fight that. You're not wrong. Okay.
How is Howl's Moving Castle still on this but Spirited Away? Oh, what the fuck?
Here's a secret. I like Howl's Moving Castle more than Spirited Away, and I hate both of those movies.
But I've got Porco Rosso. Shocker. Doug.
Castle in the Sky.
Jacob.
I said Grave of the Fireflies still.
Kelly.
Castle in the Sky.
Kaiser.
Porco Rosso.
And Jay.
Howl's Moving Castle.
So
Castle in the Sky and Porco Rosso both have 2 votes. Jay, Porco Rosso or Castle in the Sky?
Which one stays?
Through this movie.
yeah, which one stays?
Which one do you want at 7?
Which one do I want at 7? We're going to go ahead and put Castle in the Sky at 7. We're going to keep Porco Rosso alive.
Can I get a list of what we have left?
Yeah, I was going
Just real quick. No, you're good. We're at like number 6 right now.
So what we have left is got Grave of the Fireflies, My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, Kiki's Delivery Service, and Porco Rosso.
Mm.
And Doug, what do you have for 6?
How's Moving Castle?
Jacob.
I haven't switched it yet. Grave of the Fireflies.
Grave of the Fireflies.
Kaiser. Jay.
Doug, I got you, baby. Howl's Moving Castle.
It's a 3-way tie.
Porco
It's a
Rosso.
3-way tie.
So
Jonathan,
We know exactly
we're not
how this is
friends.
coming down.
We're not friends if you
Throw
don't
this, throw this shit. Oh,
so Jonathan, Porco Rosso, Grave of the Fireflies, or Howl's Moving Castle at 6. And it is Howl's Moving Castle.
I don't have to do the whole Jim Carrey. Oh, come on! Correct choice, by the way, Jonathan. Correct choice.
Hold on. I'm trying to write quick. Sorry, I had to
Doug
write
got to
quick.
draw with his fingers. It's like he's in the 3rd grade. Give him a second.
Yeah, it's a little difficult. Fingerprint.
But Jacob, what do you have for 5?
I haven't erased my board yet.
I haven't erased my board at all.
Jay.
Kiki, do you love me? I said only partly. I only love my bed
Doug,
and my
what do you
mom.
have?
I'm sorry.
Bye, Porco.
Oh, you guys suck, bro.
Finally.
Listen,
You guys
I
suck.
know
Fuck
how
you.
to
Everybody
play this
vote
game.
Grave of the
I know-
Fireflies right now.
I know how to
Everybody
play
vote
this
Grave right now.
If you don't, you better not vote Grave after I just ended that. I know how to play this game well. Everybody vote Princess Mononoke right now.
Fuck you in your dirty whore mouth. I hate you so much, Doug. How are we best friends, you dick?
But Kelly, what do you have for
Fireflies.
Kaiser? Jay.
Grave.
I ain't doing this. I've put My Neighbor Totoro.
Why?
Doug.
I went Kiki. I'm dying.
Jacob.
Oh,
Grave of
God.
the Fireflies.
Grave Grave of the Fireflies is going to be 4.
Malcolm, can you just type in the chat the 3 that we have left, the 4 that we have left, because we know what we're getting rid of next.
We've got My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke. What else do we have left? Kiki's Delivery Service.
And what else?
That's it.
Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, and Princess Mononoke.
Oh,
there's only 3 spots left. He hasn't put Grave of the Fireflies at 4. Should be number 2.
No, it shouldn't. It's fine at 4. It is fine at 4.
But I've got My Neighbor Totoro at 3. Doug.
Kiki.
Jacob.
Kiki.
Kelly.
Number 1 in my heart, but Kiki.
Kaiser. And Jay.
I only love my better and my mom. I'm sorry.
But this time, instead of going for the number 2, we're going to vote on number 1 because the other one becomes 2 by proxy.
So we're voting on number 1.
Yeah, voting on number 1.
How mad would Jay be if number 1 was? I'm just saying, guys. He voted against your stuff beforehand.
It says the man who is literally campaigned this entire time to make sure that his movie made it to the top 5. Okay, my movie deserves to be number 1, sir. My movie deserves an Oscar.
I campaigned like the best of them, though.
Fuck you. This is for number 1, right?
Let's not forget Doug tried to get Tales from Earthsea on the list.
That is very true. You're gonna trust a man who puts Tales from Earthsea on their list? Okay.
I threw a wild card.
Kelly, what do you have for number 1?
I think Totoro is the Ghibli one.
Kaiser.
My number 1 movie of all time, Princess Mononoke.
Jay.
Mononoke Hime. Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke. Doug.
Mononoke.
And Jacob.
I also said Totoro.
But
it's really close.
Princess Mononoke.
We were this close.
I should have messed with you so bad. Hey Malcolm,
the forest spirits had my back, bro.
Hey Malcolm, when can we do anime main characters? I'm just saying.
I mean, it's one that I will definitely will put on
Goku.
Once some stage.
Yusuke, Naruto.
But hold up, you don't. How dare you mention them and not mention the OG female hero of them all with Sailor Moon?
Oh, I thought you were about to say Bulma.
Just about to say.
I thought you were about to say Bulma, because you can't just go Sailor Moon. You have to go them all. And the best girl in Sailor Moon is Tuxedo Mask. The fuck
with you?
But with this being said, Taya is the best female anime person. But no, this being said, this is the top 12 Ghibli list. At 12, we've got from Up on Poppy Hill. At 11, we've got Whisper of the Heart. At 10, we've got Lupin the Third Castle of Cagliostro. At 9, we've got Nazca in the Valley of the Wind. At 8, we've got Spirited Away. At 7, we've got Castle in the Sky. At 6, we've got Howl's Moving Castle. At 5, we've got Porco Rosso. At 4, we've got Grave of the Fireflies. At 3, we've got Kiki's Delivery Service. At 2, we've got My Neighbor Totoro. And at number 1, we've got Princess Mononoke. But with that being said, it's come to the end. I'll have a poll up in a bit with the topics for next week's Rankum. But with that being said, Doug, where can people find you online?
Yo, I got 14.6 thousand people following me on TikTok at that user handle. Go ahead and follow me. I produce mental health awareness stuff. I started a mental health Discord. If you go follow this, you can click the link in the bio. Promotion. That's how this works, right? Anyway,
Jacob, where can people find you online?
You can find me over at Nerd Entertainment Network. I do stuff over there. Combat Wrestling Trivia, I do stuff over there too.
Kelly, where can people find you online?
I pop up here and there. You'll find me in most of the community sort of things. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Kaiser, where can people find you online?
Same as Kelly, you can find me literally anywhere. Actually, I think I'll be doing a thing with Jay like tomorrow morning at right around this time. So yeah, but otherwise, just something I want to plug. It's not trivia related, but it's called Code for the community. It's basically where a bunch of Python coders they go and teach kids who are underprivileged, but they want to learn how to code. We go and teach them on how to do the proper coding procedures and what are the proper coding practices. So just a community initiative that is only in Singapore, so it's not really helpful, but I'll check it out. Yeah.
Jay, we can find you online.
You can find me right here, twitch.tv/Lose Theron. Your boy just hit affiliate, so I will be playing Dear Esther and probably hunting some vampires in Resident Evil Village here in a little bit. You can find me at you can find me on Full Metal Media every Thursday, hosting the sibling show to what you host every Sunday. Classic. You can find me in most of the pubs around my area, just drinking to forget the fact that Doug mentioned Tales from Earthsea in this list. But yeah,
I should have did Totoro. Should have did it.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, bitch.
And you can find me on Full Metal on Sundays, as Jay said, where I host Full Metal Classic. Also host Full Metal Random, which you'll also be able to see Jay taking on RJ, Caleb Coho, and Jake Marangoni in Brooklyn Nine-Nine trivia. And you could also find me over here on Take 3, where I host Rankum every Saturday, and every Sunday I host Late Night Take 3. Tomorrow we're doing animated voices in film, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of great things planned. But yeah, until next time, keep listening shit.